seconds. Aaron?
Well, good afternoon, and thank you all so much for coming today. Obviously, I'm Gabe Evans, and we just wrapped up a really hard-fought campaign here in Colorado's 8th Congressional District. But before we get any further down that road, it is Veterans Day, and so I just want to make sure that we thank all veterans, and we take a moment to remember their sacrifices, the sacrifices of those who are currently in our military, and the sacrifices of their family. My wife and I have been married for a little over 15 years. She was with me all 12 years that I was in the Army, and so we know that families serve right alongside our military men and women, and we just want to take a moment to honor and respect their service and the service of all who are currently in. And for me, that really is how my story started just a couple of generations ago. On my dad's side, the Evans side, my granddad was a career naval aviator for 20 years. On my mom's side, the Chavez side, my abuelita Chavez was born in Mexico, immigrated to this country for the American dream, served it in World War II, earned 2 Purple Hearts with Patton's Third Army fighting in Western Europe. And so that's how I was brought up. You love your country. You take care of your community. You do whatever is necessary to protect and preserve that American dream and pass it on to future generations. And that's been the story of my life. That's why I was a cop for 10 years. That's why I was a soldier for 12 years, to take care of my country, to take care of my community. Just, in fact, 3 years ago, I was a police officer working the night shift out in the city of Arvada. And that's what got me into politics, was seeing the issues that were going on in our community. We've heard the statistics all through the campaign. Unfortunately, Colorado is the 3rd most dangerous state right now in the country. We're number 2 for kids overdosing and dying on illegal drugs, predominantly fentanyl. We're number 1 in the nation for a lot of terrible things. We're number 1 for bank robberies. Almost 10% of bank robberies across the country right now are happening in Colorado. I saw those problems as a police officer, couldn't have the impact I wanted as a police officer, and so that's why I ran for and won my state house seat, and that's why I'm now so incredibly honored by the confidence and by the faith that the voters in Colorado's 8th Congressional District have instilled in me as their new representative-elect. In many ways, this was a tremendous victory for Colorado Republicans and for balance and for dialogue in this state. This is probably one of the, if not the biggest races in Colorado since 2014, when Cory Gardner flipped a U.S. Senate race. And if current projections hold, Colorado's 8th Congressional District is going to be one of only 4 seats across the entire country where a Republican challenger defeated an incumbent Democrat. But I don't really view this race as Team Republican versus Team Democrat. As a police officer, when folks called me, whatever my political party was, it didn't matter, and whatever their political party was, didn't matter. What mattered is that I was there to solve a problem, to work together for the community. My first year as a cop, I went to over 1,800 calls for service, and I made 41 arrests. And what I took away from that was 1,759 times out of 1,800, I was there to work together with anyone and on what unites us rather than what divides us, and be able to mediate, solve a problem, refer to resources, do whatever was necessary to be able to make life better for everyone in the community. It's what I did as a police officer. I took that attitude down to the state capitol, and that's what I'm looking forward to doing in Congress. Through our campaign, we spoke to Republicans, we spoke to Democrats, we spoke to unaffiliated, we spoke to third parties, and we found that common ground on the issues that defined this race, making sure that we have a secure border, making sure that we're doing work to fix our broken immigration system for those who legally want to come to this country, as my grandfather did, and be a contributing part of the American dream, working to ensure that we are a safe place for folks to raise their families again, working to correct the just tragic situation that's happening right now with us being the 3rd most dangerous state in the country, working to make sure that we're lowering the cost of living, that folks can afford to be able to put gas in the car, food on the table, be able to send their kids to sports, be able to achieve that American dream of homeownership. These are the things that we focused on in the campaign. These are the things that unite us. These are the things that I'll continue to focus on in Congress. And for those who didn't vote for me, you know what? I am still going to work as hard as I possibly can for you, just as I did when I was in law enforcement, just as I did when I was in the military. And again, in those careers, your political party didn't matter. What mattered was accomplishing the mission, take care of the country, take care of the state, take care of the community, and that is the promise that I make to every single person in this district, whether you voted for me or not. So don't ever hesitate to reach out to the office. We will do everything that we can to help whatever issue or problem you may be facing. I'm so excited to be able to get to work in this district, to roll up my sleeves and work with some of my colleagues to fix these issues that we've talked about. To help me in that transition, today I'm excited to announce that Tyler Moore will be my new Chief of Staff. We'll be making additional staff announcements in the coming weeks, but during that transition period, for our friends in the media, you can still use Alan Phil for any of your media questions as your point of contact. We've got so many thank yous to go over that got us to this point. Too many to name them all, so I'm just going to call out a select few individuals so that we're not here all day. But truly, from the bottom of my heart, to everyone who participated in this campaign, who helped to get us to this point, who put in the blood, the sweat, the tears, truly from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. And first, I want to thank my opponent for running a hard, well-fought campaign. We had a conversation yesterday. My hat is truly off to her. I know that was a difficult phone call to make, but we had a conversation where she offered me her congratulations, and I thanked her for her service, for her groundbreaking historical service as Colorado's first Latina in Congress. And then we had some of the details where we talked about making sure that we have a good transition from her office to mine so that none of our constituents have their cases dropped, and we continue to serve seamlessly everyone in this district who has reached out to her office for assistance, and making sure that those are transitioned to our office. I want to thank State Senator Barb Kirkmeyer, who was the Republican nominee 2 years ago for this district, and who was a trailblazer, who paved the way, and she is truly a giant here in Colorado Republican politics, and I am so honored to be standing on her shoulders today. Truly, I would not be here without all of the help and support that she gave through this campaign. To all of our volunteers, there's too many to mention, so if I don't name you, know that my deepest gratitude is with you. But Maria Weiss, Sandra Vera, Cindy Lombardi, Mark Morris, Carl Hoops, Robert Terry, Craig Sullivan, Heidi Pitchfork, just to name a few. We put together a fantastic team when I was a commander in the Army and a watch commander in law enforcement. I would always talk to my folks, and I would make sure that they knew that they were the most critical asset that we had in the military or law enforcement. Helicopters don't fly themselves, police cars don't drive themselves without people, and it's the exact same thing without campaigns. We would not be here without the volunteers who donated countless hours, countless miles walked. We had volunteers that made over 12,000 phone calls, just one person. So thank you from the bottom of my heart to all those individuals. My campaign staff, for all of the work, for all of the long hours, for the way that we pulled together and that we gelled as a team, and for getting everything that needed to be done. Truly, my hat is off to you. Again, would not be here without my campaign staff. My finance committee, my donors, George and Barb Eidsness, Tim and Lisa Walsh, John and Kathy Woodward, Gary and Mary Margaret Wright, John Pritzloff, the whole Smethel family, Rich Sokol, Warren Cohen, Bob Murphy. There are so many other folks out there. Again, we'd be here all day if we ran through the entire list, but truly, if you'd have told me that I was going to raise close to $2.6 million in this campaign a year ago, I would have laughed. I'm a cop and a soldier. $500 is a lot of money to me. And so being able to just have that support, to have the resources to carry the message, to get us across the finish line, again, truly, thank you so much. To my family, to my wife Anne, we've been married for over 15 years. She stuck with me through the military, through law enforcement. She never doubted this race. She was my rock the whole time. Would not be here without her. I love you, Anne. Thank you so much. To my two boys, Bruce and Sam, 8 and 12 years old. We knocked on a lot of doors. You don't have to knock on doors for a few months. So just so grateful to my boys for putting up with all of the work that a campaign entails, and Dad always having to take one more political phone call, go to one more event. So promise we'll do something fun as soon as we get a spare day. To my parents, to my in-laws, to the rest of my family, to my friends, everyone that helped support me, thank you so much again from the bottom of my heart. And then finally, this would not be complete without thanking God. As I've said multiple times through this campaign, I follow a three-pronged process when it comes to making decisions in these types of situations. My faith guides me. I follow the Constitution based on 22 years in the military and law enforcement, working daily in the trenches to uphold and defend it, and I listen to my constituents. So at the top of that list again is my faith, it's God, and I just have to give the glory to God for getting us to this point, and ask for His continued grace and wisdom so that I can be the absolute best representative that I possibly can be for every single person in Colorado's 8th Congressional District. I am so excited that this is the honor of a lifetime to be able to represent this district in Congress, to be your voice, to continue the fight, to make us a safe, affordable place to live, to work, to raise families, to achieve that American dream that we all love, that we all know, and that we all treasure. So I am so excited to roll up my sleeves and get to work. Again, never hesitate to reach out to the office. We'll get that up and running as soon as possible. Thank you all for coming today. God bless you all, and God bless America. Happy to take questions.
President Trump's borders are only. They said that the way to deal with each status families going forward is to put everyone together, even those who have good statuses. I'm wondering if that's the
And so when it comes to the border, we've talked about this multiple times through the campaign. We know we have to get that border security there, but we know that we also have to be humane as we look at these situations here. And so my first priority when we talk about border and border security is making sure that we are aggressively targeting those individuals who are not only just illegally present in the country, but who are also committing other crimes, violent crimes, who are stealing, causing other different criminal events to happen in our community. So that is where my first and primary focus is going to be when it comes to securing the border and when it comes to making sure that we're able to restore a little bit of balance here in the United States, particularly with folks who might be here illegally. We've got to focus on the ones who are committing crimes in our community, additional crimes.
Does that mean you don't support family members who are here illegally, or even people who are here illegally but not breaking the law like public roads?
I think again, we got to go in priorities. Until the border is secure, I mean, deportations don't really do a lot. You can see any headline where somebody's been deported 5, 6, 8, 10 times. They come back, they commit another crime. So until the border is secure, you can't really move on to step 2 because you deport somebody and they want to come right back. They're right back. So we've got to secure the border. Step 1. We have got to make sure that we are working to fix our immigration system. So again, so that those folks who want to do it right, who, as you said, want to come here for the American dream, have they're rewarded with a faster path to be able to do that for their dedication to following the law. And then for those folks who are, again, committing crimes in our community, we have got to aggressively prioritize those individuals first and foremost above anything else. So for me, I think we're at least 2 solid steps away from the situation that we described.
How independent are you planning to be? How often do you think that you're going to go along with the other Republicans in the House and from the administration? Will we see you be independent?
I think these are all questions where the devil is in the details. So you have to really dig into that policy. You have to look into that policy. And as a representative for Colorado's 8th Congressional District, we default back to that previous metric that I talked about. My faith guides me. Follow the Constitution, and I listen to my constituents. And so in order, that is how I'm going to be making my decisions. And so for those times where, the district or my own personal experience differs from something, then we're going to have those conversations. So again, my decision-making process is faith guides me, follow the Constitution, and I listen to the constituency.
You spoke at President-elect Trump's rally in Florida a few weeks ago. Stephen Miller has said it's gospel for America that's more from and I'm wondering, looking at the demographics of the district, what would this district look like if all non-Americans, including legal status?
So America is the great melting pot. I alluded to that earlier when I talked about my history here. My grandfather Travis was born in Mexico. My mom's side found their own one generation further. I'm from my mom, who's a first generation American. So we know that is the promise of the United States. We are the great melting pot. We know what it says on the Statue of Liberty. Give me your tired, your poor, your public masses yearning to breathe free. That is the American dream. And so I think all that people ask is that if you're going to come to the United States, you do it the right way. You come here legally. You come here to either be a contributing part of the American dream as an American citizen, or you have some other sort of legal status if you want to be a temporary worker or something like that. But we just ask that you follow our laws and that there's no cutting in line, and that those folks who want to come either as a citizen or some other legal status, that they do it legally, and that our promise is that we work to make sure that those folks who are committed to doing it legally have a process that is actually functional for them. I spoke to an individual on the campaign trail from Brazil. He's been waiting 17 years to legally get his citizenship here in the United States. And he says he's got probably another 4 years to go. That's over 2 decades. We owe it to folks who have that level of commitment to the rule of law to give them a more streamlined system by which they can follow our laws, do it the right way, come here and be a contributing part of American society, just as my grandfather was, who literally swore his life, 2 Purple Hearts, twice he was injured in World War II, September of 1944 and April of 1945, to serve and protect his new home. Those are the folks that we want to come here, and at the same time as we're doing that, again, we have to make sure that those individuals who are legally present here, exploiting and taking advantage of our community, we must hold them accountable.
Would you support policies that separate families from one another as part of these statutes?
I'm not a big fan of separating families.
Other complicated they want to go beyond just, reporting violent criminals, that they want to report millions of others. Why is it so hard for you to say what you support that part? You said you supported reporting violent criminals.
Again, I think that's at least step 3 in the process. Step 1, secure the border. Step 2, we have to make sure that those violent criminals in our community are being held accountable. In the military, if everything's a priority, nothing's a priority, and nothing happens. Same thing in law enforcement. And so we have to make sure that we are clearly establishing priorities. And for me, the first 2 priorities are secure the border, and then make sure that those people that are legally present in the community and are additionally committing crimes are held accountable. After we've got those priorities done, then we can absolutely continue to have that conversation about what do we do with the millions of folks who are present illegally in the United States, but who aren't committing crimes and who aren't really causing massive problems in our society. But again, because they're not causing problems, to me, they're figuring out that